Okay, so before we get into the counseling portion of this, I'm going to give you some details on our patient. So today we're seeing Billy. He's an 80-year-old farmer who has had progressive hearing loss over the last 10 years and recently gotten to the point where he is a cochlear implant candidate. He had his cochlear implant surgery, a unilateral implantation. Surgery was successful with the auditory nerve mostly intact. He currently lives alone. His wife passed a few years ago, and so it's just him living at home. He has a wear time of about 9 hours, with about 6 of those hours in quiet. He is highly motivated, however. He used to be really involved in church groups and visiting family, and with his recent speech problems, he's had a lot of difficulty in those situations, so he's highly motivated to get back out there and get back into it and be involved. Okay. Hi, Billy. I'm Katie. I'll be working with you today. How are you doing today? Amazing. I'm so happy you came in. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to connect to your cochlear implant and check on some things. While I'm doing that, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take this piece of paper and write down 3 goals. I want these goals to be very specific, okay? Like as specific as you can be, and how you're living your daily life, okay? Just 3 goals for how you want to be doing with this cochlear implant. So go ahead and write those down while I check on some things. All done? Okay, great. Okay, I see your first goal here is to get back involved with your church group. And I think that is an amazing goal, especially since you've talked about how much you really like doing that. We have our second goal here, to be able to talk to your nephews and nieces. I think that's lovely. Yeah, okay. I think that's a great goal as well. And for our third goal here, we have to be able to go out to dinner in loud restaurants. That's a big one, and that's a common one, especially for people who have recently had a cochlear implant. So I think these are great goals, and what I'd like you to do next is, with these goals, I want you to rank them from 1 to 10 on how you think you're currently doing in these situations. So a 1 is going to be like, you can't participate in this, or you can't function in this environment. And a 10 is going to be, I have no issues. I'm perfectly fine in this environment. I'm doing great. So I'll just let you take some time, think about that. All done? Okay, fantastic. So I see that all of these we scored pretty low. And while I was looking at your data from the cochlear implant, I can definitely see some things that we can do to improve those scores, okay? So right now you're having about 9 hours of wear time, or time that you have that on. So we definitely want to shoot for more around 12 hours, and I know that's a lot, and I understand that you are home most of the time, and there's not people there with you, and that's okay, but we still want to have that cochlear implant on. And I'll go over some resources here in a minute to make sure that you're getting enough speech coming in, because what we're doing is we're trying to give you as much input as possible from speech so that your brain can make those new pathways and figure out that new system of hearing, okay? So that's the first thing I wanted to go over, is we definitely want to increase that wear time, and additionally we want to increase the amount of time that we're in those louder environments or speech-filled environments, okay? So before we go any further, I want to talk real fast about like how comfortable you are with technology, like additional apps on your phone or computer programs or anything like that. How do you feel about all of that? Pretty savvy? Okay, fantastic. So the first thing that I want to talk about on the technology side is we want to talk about aural rehabilitation, okay? So this is just like some ways that we can add some more speech into your daily life that's really going to help you meet those goals that we were talking about earlier, okay? One of the first ones I want to go over is angel sound. Have you heard of this? No? Okay, so this is a more structured version of aural rehabilitation. Um, so it goes through sound discrimination and speech components. It's kind of, it's on the computer, and it's a program that you go through, and it walks you through audible rehabilitation, all these steps. So it's very structured. So something like that would definitely be something that you might look into if you want to do something more structured, or if you want something a little bit more loosey goosey, a little more you can decide what it is that you're listening to. I recommend Audible books. Those are just audio books. There's an app for it that we could download on your phone, and you could listen to audiobooks all the time, whenever, as frequently as possible, while you're at home. And this would just give you some more speech input, which is what we're shooting for, right? And if you want to use something else, or you don't like Audible, or whatever the case may be, I know we've also talked about Spotify in the past. You love podcasts and you listen to them through Spotify. Well, Spotify also has audiobooks on it, so we could just go through using Spotify and using Audible or audiobooks and podcasts through that method. That would be something that you already have on your phone, and I could show you where to find all of those things. They have lots of different podcasts and books to go through on there, and that again would be giving you more speech input. And that's more of a you choose your own adventure kind of thing. So if that's what you're looking for, we could definitely go that route. Or if you want something a bit more structured, something that's going to tell you specifically what we should be doing, and we can look into angel sound as well. How are you feeling about all of this? Does all of this sound good? Yeah. Okay, great. I'm glad that you're following with me, and you're feeling really good about this. Definitely leaning Spotify. Okay, yeah, because we already have it on our phone, and we can go through some of that here in a minute. So what this would look like in our daily lives is I'd like you to be listening to this or doing aural rehabilitation about 5 to 6 days a week. So I'd want you to be listening to, couple podcast episodes a day, or while you're at home, while you're not doing things, while it's just you. I'd like you to have something going. You could even turn on Spotify on the television if you have a smart TV, which I think we talked about last time you were here. Yeah, so I think all of those are really great options. And again, we just want that to happen as often as possible, right? So like 5 to 6 days a week, and you can continue to participate in your daily activities, and we can just find a way to work this into our schedule. How are we feeling about that? We're feeling good? Fantastic. So our goals that we set today, I want to use these as like benchmarkers. I want these numbers that we saw today, these 2s and 3s on these goals, I want those to be 10s. I'm sure you want them to be 10s as well. So what I want to do is I want to use these as benchmarkers for how we're progressing and how we're moving forward, okay? So next time you come in, we'll pull out this sheet again, and we'll see how we're doing in those environments after incorporating this aural rehabilitation and increasing that wear time, trying to make sure we're in those speech-filled environments, okay? Okay. Do you feel good about this? Do you feel like we've talked about things that that we can implement going forward? Fantastic. Okay. We will see you soon.